With the recent news of the classic To Kill a Mockingbird possibly being pulled from schools in Mississippi, WBON TV went to the Madison County Public Library. We spoke to Director Ruthie Maislin about this and about the recent recognition of Banned Books Week.
So what's big man Joe Staley doing? He's celebrating a touchdown he didn't score. The odds of a guy like Joe scoring a real touchdown are the same as zero. Worming his way out of here.
So the American Library Association, which is kind of like this national group of libraries of all types, not just public libraries, but academic, special libraries, etc., university libraries, Banned Books Week in September each year. And this year it was September 24th through the 30th, and they issue their top 10 books that were challenged or banned from the previous year. And so they track these challenges that come into libraries and schools throughout the year of books that people want removed or to be reconsidered to have on the library shelves. And so it's just a time for us to share information with the public about what books actually make it to that list, because it's a lot of times things that you wouldn't expect. For example, many of the books that we consider to be classics find their way to those lists all the time. From Catcher in the Rye, we know that that's one that's always banned and challenged. But the Bible makes it on that list. The Lord of the Flies, several books by Toni Morrison. So it's a lot of what books that we consider classics and part of the canon of American literature are banned and challenged. And that's because I think that those books often challenge our perceptions and our viewpoints and the things that we associate with our American identity. We're really fortunate in Madison County, in this area. We because of the university, EKU and Berea College, and a lot of the things that are going on in this community, we have very few instances of people in our community challenging books that we have here in the Madison County Public Library. So if somebody has a problem with the book, they think it's like inappropriate, they may come and talk to me about it, but very few times, like maybe one or two the whole time I've been here, has somebody actually issued a formal complaint about a book. School system in Biloxi, Mississippi, I think it was part of an 8th grade curriculum. It was To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, a Pulitzer Prize winning book, and considered, as you mentioned, part of the classics of Americana. And so the reasoning, as far as I could tell, was that the racial language, particularly the use of a racial epithet throughout the whole book, was troublesome and offensive to students who are reading that book. But I think that part of what her use of that language was in that book was to draw attention to racially charged language that was prevalent and still remains, an issue today, unfortunately, in the 21st century. It was done on purpose to make a specific point, which is the point that it was, that was brought up as a reason to challenge the book. I can see both sides of the situation, so I'm glad I'm not in a position to arbitrate that, but if you're a student in a class and people are reading a section of a book aloud, and that word comes up over and over again, I can see how that would be troubling to students who are doing that. So, I can understand that, but just because it's troubling doesn't mean that those students don't hear that word used against them, maybe in everyday life. So it's just to not read it in a book doesn't make it go away, it doesn't make the issue go away. Let's talk about them. Let's not shy away from having the discussion. And if there's a book that you don't want your children to read, then tell them, don't read that book. I think that that's another way of communicating your expectations and your desires. But I don't think it should be left to the library or the government or to an institution to make that decision for the individual.
For WBON TV here at the Madison County Public Library, I'm Marissa Hempel.